So February of last year, my husband at the time and I split. Was in between places for a while, thinking the lockdown would only last for what, like a couple months? Wasn't sure how long that was going to be, but I didn't want to be stuck in an apartment. I work at a university, and alumni would often send in stories of how they were living in vans or doing whatever. I was like, oh my God, that looks amazing. Like, I wanted a trailer because I decided I wanted to be able to leave a space somewhere and be able to leave and go somewhere else and not like have to worry about having all of my things with me. Like, was it going to get broken into? Do I feel safe leaving all my things here and going off on a hike for a couple hours? So it keeps me moving, but also because I'm not in any one place for a long period of time, I really have to prioritize what do I want to do, and then it doesn't become like, oh, like Saturday, like I'm just going to be lazy and lay around all day. Like, no, I'm going to go out and do some cool shit. I'm Laura. This is Vandy, and this is my Airstream Athena. So this is a 2014 Airstream International Serenity, and it is 27 feet. With the tongue, it's about 28 feet. So this is my Ram 2500 4x4 that I have affectionately named the Beast because it is enormous, and learning how to drive it was fun, but also it pulls this thing. So this is the front, and the back rather. This is storage in here, so this is where I keep tools and the things to bring down the awning, which is up here. So there's also a backup camera installed on here because I had never driven a truck before doing this. So I started last year in September. I had never towed before. I have never backed up anything that I was towing before. Totally outside of my comfort zone. Needed the camera so that I, one, could see what I was doing, but also hopefully don't kill anybody. So that's important. So this is a solar guard and a rock guard. I just got back from the LA dealership, which was fantastic. And they had to replace this because a rock flew at my Airstream and cracked it up here. And there was a point when I was driving through Texas and thought it might fly off and kill somebody. So kind of important to fix that. So this is, you use this to move it up and down and hitch and unhitch it from the truck. This keeps everything connected. So when it's night out, you have lights and your brakes work and people know when you're gonna stop. These are emergency brakes. Sway bar so that you're not flinging all over the place. There's a light in here, propane, which is actually pretty great for the winters, and the only thing that keeps me warm, other than my electric blanket, which is also fantastic. And then this is extra storage, so it's kind of messy in here, but all of the electrical, like this is where I put the sway bars when I'm not driving, and there's just a bunch of junk in there. And then this is the battery in here. And when I purchased it, I had them switch it out they added solar panels to the top. And so these are the solar batteries that work with those. Okay, so more information. This is the really cool Airstream International sign. More windows. This is actually an emergency window, so it'll pop out. You're driving around with a lot of propane, and if it catches on fire, it's so that you have a way to stay safe if you need to while you're in the back. So this is the bedroom back here. There is a shower here, and this is basically a flush guard. So when you connect everything up, all the sewage comes out of here. There is a spare where you can keep the sewage tube down underneath here, so you don't have to keep it in your truck or in the trailer. And then more amps and power. And then this is the rear awning, side awning. So it's smaller than the one in the front, and just gives a little bit of extra shade. So when the sun is coming in from this side, you can kind of pull it down, and with the windows, it helps cool down the Airstream a little bit. So I bought this one from the Airstream dealer in Tampa, who was fantastic. It is a used, like I said, it's 2014, but I had them add the solar panels so that originally I thought I would be dry camping a lot because of work. That makes that a little bit challenging, but if I need to, that provides extra power to the trailer. Welcome to the inside of my Airstream. The layout of this is great. Maybe it's more crowded with a couple people, but for one person, I feel like I have different zones. And even though it's not very many square feet, it feels like a lot of different spaces. This feels like home, not even a second home. Like, I don't have a permanent space. The address that I'm using is my parents' address because I don't have a physical address. And no, like, I had stayed with them. So the first stint I left and I came back right before Thanksgiving. I stayed with them over the holidays. I love my parents. I love my family. Couldn't wait to get back in here because I felt like, okay, this is my own space. I can breathe here. I'm in control of this space. That's important. Pretty much Airstream sets everything up so that it's great little storage spaces or things. They really economize the space a lot so that you can find little cubby holes or things to place things in. Most of the time I spend most of the day here working, relaxing. And then this opens up and that's where I keep all my shoes. They also have little cubby holes underneath both the front under the sink under here where I keep shoes, and then over here. And then there's lots of other storage spaces. So this opens up, watch out for the dog bowl. More storage, dog food and whatnot. There isn't anything underneath here, but when this pops up, there is a table, and so you can put more things underneath there. That's where I keep all the wires and kind of have them contained for my laptop. I do photography. I just have a lot of wires and cords. You can also pull this out, and apparently this becomes another twin size bed. I haven't done that. It's just been kind of a couch and chill, but it's meant so that if you can have a family in here. Like if you have, you know, the nuclear family unit, you have the parents and they can sleep in the back and the kid can sleep up here, or however you want to configure it. So Airstream is really great about the shades and keeping light out. So if you want to have darkness in here during the day, but also at night, it's great. So you feel like you have privacy and security and people can't see in. Even with these ones, obviously a little bit more light comes in, but you don't have to worry about people seeing through them. So this is one of the Wi-Fi routers that I had set up. So Airstream, through them, they have an AT&T option. So because I need to make sure that I am connected all the time, I had this router installed. It's worked when my Verizon doesn't, so it's nice to have both of those two options. And then over here, all the dog treats and things for the dog. And then welcome to the kitchen. This is the sink. So my favorite thing about this is it is this little doodad. It stays on the sink, so cutting board comes off and you can do dishes, work from here, but it actually creates extra storage space and great for hiding dirty dishes that you don't want to think about. And then again, more electrical stuff. So here you can kind of see where your battery percentage is at, how much fresh water. So when you fill up the tank, you know how much you have left if you're not connected to shore water. And then also percentages. So if you are boondocking or if you're not connected to a sewage system, you can check and see how full you are. And if you need to get rid of any of that. This is the stove. So it's all propane and that pulls from the propane tanks outside, but there's 3 different burners, which is really handy, like if you're trying to cook more complex meals. And then there is a little oven, which I've used a couple times, but mainly this with my cast iron skillets. So lots of cooking supplies and pots and pans and cookbooks and whatnot. And there's a full microwave, which I had heard that the microwaves cook slower than normal ones in an Airstream, but I haven't had any issues with that. I didn't actually think I would use that, but it's going to be great. And then just more storage space. It's kind of emptied out right now, but usually food. And my big thing has been on the road coffee. So instead of picking up little souvenirs, odds and ends, I've been trying to pick up bags of coffee from everywhere I've stopped. And this is the silverware and odds and ends drawer. And this is most of the stuff that I use, and then my knives in here. And then lots of cookware. And then there's nothing under there other than an empty box. But this one, if I were to bake, I have baking supplies. So the storage has been pretty great, and I actually have extra storage because there's a shower in here that I don't use. Rather than worrying about that breaking or having to fix it, I use public showers, which good to have shower shoes. But it creates great storage. So there's more storage up here. You're on the road, things are moving around a lot. The nicest thing, the container store has been great for all these little things to keep things where they should be so they don't fly all over the place or break. But lots of enamelware and plates and things that don't break. So that's more storage. There's obviously under here, which is kind of dirty, but it's not the best for like multiple people trying to get around, but for one person, it's pretty great because then when you're working here, you can have access to this space, and this space, which doesn't feel like a lot if you're used to like a normal size kitchen, but you can really use the space really well to do a lot. So this is the Dometic fridge. It fits all of my food for the week. Usually I go grocery shopping once a week and pick up what I need, fill it up, and then it's good to go. It's a little barren today because Sunday is my grocery shopping day. That's what it looks like. And this is my spice shelf. So all the different flavored things, lots alphabetical. So then here's the wardrobe. And then obviously you can hang things up and you got plenty of space in there. And this is the bathroom. And so it's got a little sink and a toilet and lots of great storage space in there as well. And then more storage underneath here for additional makeup and crap. This is the bedroom. Lots of window spaces. I have what's called the rear bed, so some models you actually come in and the bed is back there, so that when you are pulling, the kitchenette and everything is in the front. I chose this option because during the day I'd rather be looking out and seeing things rather than at night or when I'm in my bed. So I think this provides a better layout and setup. What's nice about it is it feels like a bedroom. Like it feels like an actual space. And there are actual dividers behind you. So there's 2 of them. So if somebody's here and they're sleeping up there and I'm sleeping back here, you can kind of pull them and have a little bit more privacy. In terms of the bedroom, there is the AC and heater unit on the wall over there and more light switches, TV, more storage spaces. So I read a lot, so there's lots of books. And this lifts up, so there's actually a ton of great storage space in here. So you have more underneath there. This is, I think, a queen, but they do, and they are shorter. So if it was to be a full size lengthwise, it'd be about out here. I've always felt a connection with nature, but it's nice to actually be in it and being out in the desert when it's nice and in the mountains and just getting to see all the different scenery. And I think at all the campsites I've gone to, I always meet really nice people who are willing to help, who just want to share tips or ideas or things that they've found. And it's just a really great experience and has frankly restored some of my faith in people. So I work at the University of Central Florida. I am a editorial director. I think my title is technically Director of Content Strategy, but overseeing social media and the magazine. And we have a news site and marketing materials and a lot of things with words. And I have a team of 7 people who I oversee and work with a great team of creatives and really smart, talented individuals who are just amazing people. Typically, if you travel, it's like, okay, I have a week. I'm going to fly to whatever that destination is, and all the crap in the middle you just miss. Like you just fly past it, you don't see any of it. Whereas with this, like, driving is actually part of what I enjoy about it. And what this has made me think about, and it's optimistic and probably naive, but I wonder if more people did it, if we would treat the earth better than we do and not be so territorial and like, this is the only plot that matters. When you're taking up other space and you're enjoying that, it becomes something that you enjoyed and want to protect. There is a lot more to see and do in this life than just work. Like, work should be the part that funds all the fun things that you do, but not your life. Get out of your own way. Like, it can seem overwhelming, like the logistical part of, you know, how do I tow? How do I back up? How do I hitch? All of those questions. It's actually way easier than you think it's going to be, and it just becomes muscle memory at some point, and shit is gonna go wrong, like, inevitably. It's not like a question of, oh, maybe. No, it will. And you just figure out how to deal with it.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. My name is Travis with Travis Travels. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like, definitely subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye. I don't actually know what they are yet.
Uh-oh.
There's an outlet.
Okay, let's do that again. This is an outlet.
Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna have a fly chasing
Obviously,
thing.
now's a good time for that.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Great thing about that, it gets me up the road. I totally just lost that at the end.
It takes me down the road.
It takes me down the road. That's important.